As you guys know, there are 18 total types of Pokemon. Where does your favorite type rank in Draft League competitively? This is not VGC competitive. This is not Hardcore Nuzlocke. This is not what your favorite is. My name is JaCubAsAlways. We upload daily Pokemon content. So if you guys enjoy what you see, make sure you like, make sure to subscribe. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And with your help, I know we can get there. So let's get started. Let's just go alphabetically, starting with Bug. Now, Bug is only super effective on Psychic, Grass, and Dark. But it has so many weaknesses. And together it like matches up really, and it's got like so many weaknesses like flying, rock, fire. Like it has so many weaknesses. It's not mid as fuck and it's not above average, so it has to go hot trash. Like I'm sorry to all the Bug type lovers out there, but Bug types are just terrible. Even though one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, Heracross, is in there. Quad weak to flying because it's paired with fighting type. And just, it's really bad. Now, Dark type. Oof. By the way, I want to state this right now. Only one type will go in the GOAT tier. If you guys can guess what type I'm going to put in there, leave your comments down below on what you would put these in the tier list and what you think I'm going to put in GOAT. It's definitely not hot trash. It's definitely not mid as fuck. It's not above average. I feel, genuinely, Dark type is one of the best. Yes, fighting, Fairy, Dark itself, resist it. However, is such a good defensive type. Unless you're like paired with something like Grass or Bug, you usually don't have a ton of weaknesses. And you're immune to Psychic. You resist Dark. You resist Ghost. There are like very few things that resist Ghost. Normal and Dark are the only thing that resists Ghost. So I have to put in one of the best. Dragon, obviously, come on, it's like it's one of the best. It's not the best in my opinion, but it's one of the best. Genuinely, it just is one of the best. Electric, I can't say that Electric is hot trash or mid as fuck, and I can't say it's one of the best, even though it has one weakness. Like, I'm gonna say Electric's above average, because offensively speaking, it's pretty solid. Flying, water, it resists steel and electric and flying. It doesn't have like a lot, but at the same time, Electric's still pretty okay. It's like just average, above average a little bit. Fairy, I'm doing it. Greatest of all time type. Why Fairy doesn't resist Fairy? I don't know. But I'm thinking it's like kind of like two normal types going at it. You know, normal is just neutral normal. So Fairy on Fairy, fighting on fighting. Not every type resists itself. Water resists itself, steel resists itself, rock does not, psychic does, poison does, ice does, grass does. Let's see. Ghost is super effective on itself. And then fire resists itself, and then dragon on dragon super effective. But Fairy is just really good. Fairy is only resisted by fire, poison, and steel. However, a lot of Fairy types, because some of them were formerly normal types, like Clefable, they get so much coverage. Like, look at some of the most broken Pokemon of all time. Mega Mawile, Magearna, Zacian Crowned. Those three right there are some of the best Pokemon ever. I knew as soon as I thought of this video, I knew I had to put Fairy there. It makes sense to me. Fairy's gonna go there. I feel like fighting is not one of the best. Fighting is one of my favorite personally, but I think fighting goes in the above average tier. I do think it's better than Electric because it's super effective on Dark, which I said one of the best types. It's super effective on normal. It's super effective on rock and steel. That's four. It's pretty good offensively speaking. Great Tusk is a really good Pokemon. Fighting ground typing is amazing. I like that a lot. And you can just pair it up with so many different things and it works out really well. Like Steel, fighting Steel is pretty good as a typing too. Next we have Fire. Now Fire, if we were doing this in previous gens, before like heavy duty boots was a thing, except before Defog removed hazards, it would have to be in mid as fuck. However, especially with Terra being a thing in Generation 9, I really think Fire has gotten a significant advantage. We have to put Fire in one of the best now because it's such a good defensive typing. Terra typings, like it just helps so much, and I think that really benefits it. Flying. I love flying types, but however, if I'm objectively looking at this, I can't put it anything higher than above average. I will put it up to the highest part of above average, but I don't think I can put it any more. All the genies, the Enamorus, Landorus, Thundurus, and Tornadus, yes, they're all either pure flying or part flying type. That is such an incredible feat. And then the Smons like Celesteela too. that aren't in the new games, but still, there is a very good typing. Also, I want to put Dragon above Dark, by the way, just because. Ghost? Oh boy, what do I want to do with Ghost? It's either bottom of one of the best, or Ghost is like above, at the top of above average, or the bottom of one of the best. For now, I think I'm going to put it at the top of above average, and I say that because there are so many normal types. Normal types, there's a plethora of normal types, and same with Dark. So the fact that it can't just do whatever it wants to a lot of teams in Draft League competitively, because I think it's really important to always draft a Dark type for Psychics and a normal type for Ghosts. I think it's super spammable against some teams, and the fact that it basically goes unresisted except for normal and Dark types, like, that's pretty impressive to me. Now Grass, I think Grass, it could be at the bottom of above average. I don't know what I want to do with this yet. We're going to put Grass at the top of mid as fuck. Obviously, there's only one. Yeah, Grass is there. It's really good for Terra because you can play around Spore, Sleep Powder better. You can do all of that stuff. So it's very good to have that option on a team. I think Grass types are a good pivot. It's good because our next type, Ground, it resists ground. And Bug types aren't really good, reliable checks to ground types a lot of the time. So Grass really does a nice job of beating it because Grass is at least super effective on grounds as well. I don't think Grass is as good as the other types in above average, so I'm going to put it at mid AF. Next up, we have Ground, and Ground's going in one of the best. It has to be, in my opinion. Also, I'm going to do this a little differently. I know I said I was going to do one and go, but we're going to do Dragon in there for a reason later, but you guys will understand why. But yeah, we're going to do Ground in one of the best because it's just integral to have a ground type. You need a solid ground type, and I would never want to draft a team that has a below average ground type. I think ground type's one of the types you can kind of get away with drafting two of if you wanted to, depending on what you all have on your team. Like a Garchomp, it's yes quad weak to ice, but it doesn't have the same problems that a normal ground type would, like being weak to grass or being weak to water. It's neutral to both. So if you draft another ground type on your team, because of that, I think that makes logical sense in my opinion. Now Ice, Ice used to be hot as trash. I don't think I'm putting it above average. I think it's one of the best offensive types in the game. But when you pair Ice with other types, such as flying, such as fighting, like, it just brings up so many weaknesses because Ice only resists itself. Water can't just switch into you anymore because Freeze Dry clearly is super effective on water. Ice should have always been super effective on water, but what do I know? Makes sense in my mind, but Ice obviously is pretty good offensive type, terrible defensive type, but you can Terra into Ice type and, you know, make do with it. I think it's pretty okay. Normal is going to be an above average. Like, it's really integral to switch into Ghost. Doesn't really have much else going for that. Like, it's just an average type. Mons like Snorlax are usually just right in the middle of the pack for points. Normal types get a lot of coverage. They usually can have like a couple good stats. It's like normal types are good. I really like normal types. Next up, we have Poison. Honestly, I think Poison's a good defensive type because you can resist things like Bug, Grass, Fighting, Itself, Fairy. So I think it's gonna go at the top of mid as fuck, but I can't make it go any more than that. I can't put it above average because I don't think it's above average because it's only super effective on Fairy and Grass. So like I think it's okay. And for some reason Ghost just resist Poison, so it's just like makes it that much worse. And there's so many types that resist it, like Rock and Ground and all that good stuff. Like I can't put anything higher than that. And same with Psychic. This might be a hot take by me, but Psychic is also going there. Psychic used to be one of the best types in the game in Gen 1. And then even up to like Gen 3, it was still like really good typing because there weren't a lot of dark types, there weren't a lot of steel types yet. More and more Pokemon just become better and better and better and stronger and stronger and stronger, and Psychic just kind of lacks. It's kind of lackluster nowadays in my opinion. Like I never really fear any super powerful Psychic types. Like if you think Draft League, a lot of the Pokemon that are up there they either have a crazy ability like Chien Pao, or they have like something going for it, like it's just, or they're like better types. Like there's the Flutter Mage's usually banned in Draft League, but there's just like it just overall Psychics just are kind of okay. And Psychics have quite a bit of weaknesses to Ghost, Dark, Bug. They resist fighting in themselves, which is not a lot of resistances if you really think about it. Now Rock type, this might be a hot take, But I think rock types are kind of important in draft. Because if somebody's got like flying spam on their team, rock resist flying. As a Terra type, I think it's pretty good to have an option to potentially go and become a rock type. I don't know, but I think rock's above average. It's got a lot of weaknesses, but it's also super effective on a lot of things too, like flying, bug, fire, am I missing one? Ice. Pretty good. But anyway, next up we have steel, obviously. Fairy Dragon Steel Core. Or Dragon Fairy Steel Core, whatever you want to say, in Draft League format. That's so important to have. It resists like 9 things, or 10 things, or something like that off the top of my head. And then it's got an immunity to poison. Obviously, the first couple gens that it was out in gens 2 and 3, there weren't a lot of steel types introduced. Why didn't introduce more than they did? I have no idea. Last but not least, we have water typing. It's gonna go in one of the best. I'm gonna say it's the top one of the best. It's not one of the goated types in my opinion. I think it's really, really great. I think it's one of the best. It has a lot of resist. The defensive waters in the format, like Vaporeon or whatever. There's a lot of different water types you can Terra, and Lake you can Terra floats it. Like water is a pretty good offensive type too, and like water spam is a thing even without a rain team. You can draft multiple water types and just lay on the pressure with them. Like water types get a lot of coverage usually, especially Ice Beam, and that can beat like or Ice Punch or Ice Beam. There's a lot of things. Yeah, obviously you're only weak to electric and grass, but like, and then if you pair it with ground, you only have one weakness, and then you can run Rindo Berry and stuff for that too. But like, it just pairs up really well with a lot of different types. So I think this is my best tier list that I could have came up with. Now, if you disagree, that's totally fine. Feel free to leave your list in the comments, as well as subscribing and joining the Discord server as well in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and I love you all. Peace.